A very good evening, brothers and sisters in Dharma. Tonight, Dr. Chandima is our guest speaker for tonight. This is Dr. Vedanta and Dr. Chandima. Bhante, Dr. Chandima is the Associate Editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Chulalongkorn Raja Widadila University in Thailand. He was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, CSRS, University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante obtained his BA Honours and PhD from University in Sri Lanka. He has authored numerous articles and books reviews in prestigious Asian and Buddhist journals. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also the Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, from the year 2012 to 2016. Bhante is currently the senior advisor to Bodhisattva, a virtual Dharma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussions, Dharma talks, and a varieties of Dharma activities. Well, Bodhisattva is a one-stop place for learning Buddhism. Without much ado, I would like to invite Bhante to begin the talk.
Thank you, brother. Good evening, everybody. I would say good evening, Dhamma friends. So, before we get started the Dhamma talk, let's pay respect to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Right. Today, the topic for this Dhamma talk is going to be, how do you respond to Mara's enemies? Are they enemies or armies? It should be armies. They are Mara's armies, I would say. Mara has armies, not Mara himself. So, first we have to understand who is Mara. What is his role in Buddhism? Right? This is the most important thing to learn at the beginning. Can anybody know, anybody tell me who Mara is in your own way? What is his role that you already understood in your own way? Right? Maybe we can start off the discussion, maybe the talk from that place onwards. Who is Mara to you? Mara is the killer. Somebody might say that is why we came here today, to learn who is Mara. I'm asking who is Mara? Mara is killer. That is what you think. Any other interpretations, any other thoughts? Who he is? M long A R A, Mara. Any thoughts? No idea. Okay, Mara is a very complicated concept because sometimes The word Mara has been given as a person, and at other times it has been given as a person. So the interpretations, ideas, they are revolving around between a concept and a person. But overall, Mara is someone who would like us to be in the samsara. Okay? We are in the samsara. Till we attain Nibbana, we are in the samsara. So it is said that he prefers unenlightened beings like us to be in samsara forever. He does not like if somebody is trying to end the samsara. Then we have to understand samsara, right? There are things that pop up. We're going to talk about this kind of a topic. What is samsara? Samsara is a sequence of different lifetimes. We are reborn, we die, we are reborn, we die, we are reborn. If we get a lucky life, it's good. If we get a human life with all the comforts, it's good. But in case if we got a very terrible life, miserable life, then we are not happy. Then it is suffering, dissatisfaction. But not every life has lots of suffering, right? The comforts even a pet, like a dog, is experiencing in a good household is not the happiness, comfort a street dog might experience. Same life, but different happiness. So is the human and other different types of life. So what we need to understand is samsara is a sequence of lifetimes. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be miserable, it can be happy. It's a very dangerous journey, right? So we don't know. So the samsaric life is an unending process until you intentionally stop it. Should we need to stop samsara? Should we need? We are supposed to end the samsara. Then what will happen to us if we end the samsara? Nothing. What do you think? What will happen to us? Let's say tomorrow you're going to stop the samsara. The territory of the Mara. Mara is the one who governs the samsara. You're going to stop it. Then what is going to happen to you? Huh? No more rebirth. Is it happiness? Is it happiness? It could be. It is happiness conditioned on that you are not going to be reborn in a miserable life. Is our human life miserable? Now I talk about some animals. Let's talk about us. We all are humans. We have physical bodies. We have family. We have work life. You may have studied and you come to the center and you may be a volunteer. So you have a different set of lives. According to your own way, is your life miserable? I heard something called kind of. Is happiness a choice or an automatic thing that will come to us? Now, all these are connected. Now, we all want to be happy, right? Even we sit down, we check whether it's good, comfort enough, easy enough, good enough, right? Always try to check whether it's good for us. When you want to work, you are checking on different careers. Do I want to choose this one? Do I need to go to a school? And when you want to make, if you are a young person, if you want to make I would say, a relationship, you are looking a lot of things, right? Because you want to be happy, right? At the end, maybe during the time, right? So is it an automatic thing that comes to you or kind of a choice? It comes up through very wise choices that you make. Huh? Happiness is temporary. Yeah. Happiness is temporary. Then what is permanent? Okay, this is one way of looking at it. Happiness is a choice. The way you look at it, right? Sometimes there are people who are immune to different states of negative things. They are immune, right? When you ask them, they say, no, I'm happy. But for you, it is misery. For you, it is unhappiness. So it's kind of it's a way of looking at it, right? If you go to a place where people don't have enough food, but for them it might be a normal thing. But they have been immune to those things, right? So the way how they look at it, so it's kind of a very changing thing. It's a choice. The way how people apply meaning to that state of mind, physical and mental things that are happening to them. So Mara is said to be the person who pushes us to the different types of happiness and unhappiness in this sansaric life. So ending the dukkha, ending the sansara means you are ending the dukkha, thereby you are not going to be reborn, and there is supposed to be the happiness. But before we get up to that happiness, shouldn't we find happiness in our life? We should. I think that is one of the very largely misinterpreted, ignored areas of Buddhism nowadays. They all talk about happiness where you get after you die, right? Next life, you do this, you get something in the next life. Some people call it this is a spiritual crime, because why don't you show them the happiness that they can get in this life? Next life will follow, whatever the things will happen. I think other religions also do the same thing. Do this and you will get this thing in next lives. Nobody knows if it is going to happen or not. Why don't we teach happiness that someone can create in this life before we talk about that large, high level of happiness, Nibbana? That is one very important thing that a lot of people do not discuss, whereby Buddhism has been interpreted as a very pessimistic teaching. Because they always talk about suffering, dukkha. Did Buddha talk like that in the canon, in the text? Did he talk to everybody that life is suffering, there is everything with dukkha? Did he talk? He did not. Then where does this, dialogue coming up? From a sectional reading, provisional reading of the text. That is where this understanding comes. You should not read sectional areas of the suttas. You should always consult a good, well-read Dhamma teacher. Otherwise, you will get stuck into certain things. Let me tell you. There was one couple called Nakula Mata, Nakula Pita, who came up to the Buddha and said to the Buddha, Bhante, now we are almost 80 years old. We have been married for 60 years already. So what I want is that ever since I married my wife, Nakula Mata, I have never thought about any other woman. So I want to be reborn with this same lady in my next life. And then Nakula Mata, she said the same thing. Ever since I married to this man, I never even thought about any other man for those 60 years. Are there such good couples in today's world? Huh? You just talk to yourself. And then what did the Buddha say? Did the Buddha say, don't think about next life. Don't think about relationships for the next life. It's dangerous. Sansara, Mara is waiting for you. You want to go to his place, he will swallow you. Did he say so? He said, yes, it is possible. On 4 conditions. He said, if both of you have samasaddha, equal trust between each other. Nakula Mata trust Nakula Pita trust Nakula Mata. Both trust each other in terms of, their life, relationship circle. Samasaddha, equal. Sama means equal. Then samasila. Samasila means they both have equal morality. They don't do anything unnecessary. That means they do not misbehave. They both are on the same page. Third, samachaga. That means they both are generous in an equal way. Not that the lady is more generous than the man, or the man is more generous than the woman. This happens, huh? They haven't looked at that side. They just, became a couple. They only looked at couple things, and then they haven't looked at that larger, broader area of the relationship. They make the decision early, and they never know how things go in their life. So, their generosity, dana, has to be equal, at least to some extent. We know that people are different. You can't find the similar person, but at least to a certain level that they are equal in their mindset. When the woman wants to be generous, man does not prevent her not being generous. When the man wants to, she is not going to prevent him from being generous. So they can discuss about it. Then sama panya, equal wisdom. When something happens, they both are able to discuss. They have a good communication. So if you have these 4, if both of you have these 4 equally, you are going to be reborn together. Have you found this teaching anywhere in the Buddhist text? You've heard about it, but this is one sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya. Did the Buddha talk about anicca here? Impermanence, dukkha, anatta, sunyata. Did he talk about anything here? No, it's not relevant to them. But for monks, he talk about it. Yes, they have seriously committed to the practice. Now, what lay people are learning is what the Buddha told the monks. They're practicing monastic Buddhism. They don't practice the lay Buddhism. Lay people Buddhism is different. Huge, serious misunderstanding. So finally, lay people think, okay, our practice is not going well. I've been going to a center, temple for many years, but my practice is not growing. I feel like I'm in the same place for the last 10 years. Why is it? Because you haven't learned the lay Buddhism. What you are supposed to do as a lay person. That is why we have to find out lay people happiness differently than the monks, monastics happiness. Monk and nun happiness. Seriously, look at differently. Whatever happens to us, we have to keep in mind there are distractions that can happen to us, temptations that can happen to us. At that point, we have to understand how do I respond to them. In our daily life, normally among Buddhist people, they have a notion when a distraction takes you over, maybe this is Mara coming to me now. Now, one example is you go shopping. You go shopping, but you haven't had enough meals before you going shopping. So that means then you feel very hungry because you have to think a lot what you're going to buy, right? Then what will happen? You will end up with eating a lot of things because you're thinking a lot about what to buy. Maybe somebody is writing down kind of a note what to buy in the shop. but you go there and you see there is a clearance area that you, so that they were very expensive a couple months, but now they become very cheap. And then you are getting tempted by those clearance stuff. They were super expensive for a couple months ago. Now what will happen to you? Temptations, distractions. Who is doing such? There's a notion that Mara could be the one who is sending these things to me, so I have to avoid myself from not being slipped into Mara's territory. Am I able to have lots of courage, energy, so that I'm not going to be caught up in such temptation, such distraction? That is being a real Buddhist. I mean, in your daily life, when you are with your family, your partners, whoever, you may have a different way of looking at it. But I'm talking about unnecessary distraction, temptations. They are necessary. I think we all need to have some discipline, training in order to avoid such, so that we becoming wise individuals, better humans, right? So we understand Mara in that perspective is somebody who is treated as a distraction, temptations that are surrounding us. So whenever you get caught up with a distraction, give the credit to the Mara. He is the one who has been able to do that for you. You want to give the credit to him, or you want to take it back and think that I'm not going to be taken over by anybody, and I'm going to strengthen my sense faculties. My eyes are strong. That means I can understand what to do. My ears are strong, and I know what to do with my ears. And my nose, my tongue, especially tongue, is the hardest faculty to many people. Eating problems. They almost get ended up with a lot of diseases, sicknesses. And then my body is under my control. And my mind has a good management. I know what to think. Not that get swayed up by the external things, and then you never know where my mind goes. Right? So that strengthening, empowering your senses is how you're going to respond to this Mara. When you empower your senses, when you empower your function of your senses, you are going against the Mara even before the Nibbana. So the distractions that come to you in the forces, in the name of the forces of Mara, armies of Mara has a lot of armies, 10 armies. I call them distractions. So they are what we're going to learn today. Now this picture, as you can see, there are different distractions. They are not one, and this was mostly alluded to the ascetic Siddhartha's enlightenment, awakening at that point. But you know what happened, right? Just before he became the Buddha, Mara wanted to disturb him, and then he sent a lot of armies, and none of the armies were able to take him down, especially these 10 armies. And then he sent his 3 daughters, but none of them could persuade the Buddha. And then he claimed that the seat that he was seated on, the Buddha, ascetic Siddhartha, it was mine. And Buddha said, no, I am eligible to sit on here. And then he stretched out his arm and then touched the earth. And earth gave lots of tremors, so that earth proved that ascetic Siddhartha has been practicing a lot of paramitas, perfections. That means earth is proof to all our good karmas and bad karmas. Okay. Remember that incident in a Jataka story where the Bodhisattva, Shakyamuni Bodhisattva was a part of. He was a student. Once the teacher, he asked all students to, it's kind of a weird request, you go home, steal something from your house without letting your parents know, and bring it back here. The first person to do that and then bring something out of your houses, I'm going to give my daughter as a marriage. Everybody went crazy. So, but there was one guy who was very silent. He did not say anything. He did not do anything. He was like calmly sitting. He said, then the teacher asked him, didn't you hear? I asked you. You all have to go to your houses, take something from your houses. without noticing your parent. Then he said, this is Bodhisattva Shaka. He said, even we steal anything without letting them know, there are some beings who are monitoring us, who are seeing us. Then the teacher asks, who are they? Three spirits. We call Rukkha Devata. They are the lowest types of the Deva, deities. They see us. What can they do? They can't do anything, but they can see what you do. That means if you are a good individual, you have help. You have support from them. So that means three Devas. Three means TREE. Rukkha Deva, they monitor us. That means you go into a room and you lock the door. You have privacy. But spiritual wise, these three spirits can see everything. This earth can witness everything what we do. If you are such a good human being, any being, you have support in whatever the way. Anyways, so Mara was unable to persuade him, and then finally the Buddha became the Buddha. Now, what does the Buddha have to say about the 10 armies? Now, this was given in a sutta in the Sutta Nipata. In the sutta, Buddha says the first army, Mara's army, that is sent to most of us. To most of us is kama. That means sensual pleasures. Right? Kama. I think everybody knows this term, right? Kama. K long A M A. What is kama? Kama means sensual pleasures. Can we live without kama? What is kama? Can I know what you know about kama? Kama means rupa, sights, saddha, sounds, gandha, smell, then rasa, taste, then pottabha, touch, you see it on channel, and then thoughts, it means dhamma. Can we live without these 6? We can't. Then you have to die. So what does it mean? That means we cannot avoid karmas, but what we should avoid? We should avoid the extreme level of karma. That means when your karma becomes a greed, then we have to avoid that. Right? Actually, when your karma turns to a lobha, greed, you are disturbing the other person. That is when you are overprotecting other people. Huh? Do you do that? You have taken their life onto you and then you are disturbing them. You are not giving them peace of mind. Right? Even among your partnership relationships, even when you are a mother, father, you are, controlling that much. And people don't find that very easy. This is one, I'm saying that you still love that person, take care of that person, but do not become a trouble to that person, right? This is one example. What about the food? We like food, we're gonna eat, but we should not consider food as a point of greed. Today I wanted to eat McDonald's, junk food. Without McDonald's, I'm gonna be very angry with my family members. I'll be very grumpy. I'm just saying one example. Right? So then, that means you are so much into that. If you could, it's okay. But if you cannot, then at that point, how do you respond to that kind of intention? So that we have to be careful in not bringing karma to the greed. So the karmas are coming in and out. But we have to treat them as Mara's forces, but we look at karmas in a healthy way. Right? We need some karmas, but we are not getting caught up by the karmas. We simply enjoy because we have to live, but we are not getting caught up with the greedy level of the karmas. That is what we have to do. We have to respond to that first army of the Mara. In Dhamma, it says there are 2 types of karmas. Kilesa kama, vattu kama. Most kamas are lying at the mental level, that I want to be with that person, I want to eat that thing. Mostly they are at the mental level. But sometimes you are owning, you are possessing those kamas. You buy it, you own it, you own that person. At that point, your karma become little intensified. Some people cannot make it very good. So they end up with a lot of anger, frustration, sadness, sometimes revenge. Very be careful. So it is at least good to stop at mental level, but sometimes you may have to go to what you call that owning, possessing level, but without greed. Second is arati. Arati means displeasure. Are we always unhappy, displeased with the things happening since the morning? How would someone consider that the morning was not good? Woke up to a bad dream, a wrong side of the bed. That means hopefully not fallen from the bed, but woke up to a bad dream. So the whole day, he or she is opening the eyes, bad dream. What are the other things? Getting a call early in the morning. Bad news, maybe the demoted, laid off, maybe something that he or she expecting didn't happen the way that happened. Right? So things like that can happen. Is it a problem? It is not a problem because things are changing all the time. Things supposed to change. Today is good, tomorrow may be bad. But we think everything should be good all the time, isn't it? Everything should happen the way I want and you want. So customizing your mindset to accept things as they are is being real Buddhist. Right? So arati means displeasure. That means unhappiness is the second army that the Mara sends to you. That means you should try to be happy. Not even as a choice. Because you know that if you are unhappy, you are becoming caught up in the second army of the Mara. Right? I think why people are unhappy? It is because they don't understand that particular event. That is why they become unhappy. How did the Buddha ask us to look at it? How did the Buddha ask us to look at events that are happening in our life? Profit, gains, losses, praise, criticism, fame, defame, happiness, unhappiness. How did he ask us to look at them? Now, when things happening to us, do we take it, this is a loss, this is a criticism, this is sadness? Do we classify them like that? I don't think so. You are suddenly overwhelmed by such. You are simply reacting to those events. You are not responding to it. You reacting. You don't take time to respond. What if you get a bad message from somebody? Are you taking time to respond? Are you directly sending back something? You become emotional, you send him back. You never give some thoughts. Maybe if you take some time to respond to that email, that message, you would respond in a very wise way. Maybe the problem is solved. Let's say you see something not happy to you in your household. Are you somebody who is going to talk it out right away with that person? More problems are coming up at that point. That person will defend, you try to defend your own position, right? So displeasure is something that is always with you if you do not manage yourself. Take your time. If you don't take your time, it will take your time. Yes, definitely. Then you send an angry response, then you have to say why you send a bad response to that person. Keep going 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I think it will become a very big wound after that. Scar. You may regret, right? It's a big problem. So discontent. I mean, the Buddha asks us to practice upekha. Why did he ask us to practice? Upekha. What is upekha? a balanced mind. Practice a balanced mind. We have either happy mind or unhappy mind. Try to practice a balanced mind. Balanced mind means equanimity. Try not to be so much happy with your achievements. Try not to be so much put down by others when you are criticized. Right? I remember, I think it was Bernard Shaw when he was, I think, organizing some drama. When one drama didn't go well, he also goes to the audience and try to uh, be as an audience. And then probably they were hooting. They were hooting in a bad way, the audience. He became a part of the audience. Right? This is one contemporary example. Are we able to accept things as they are, vipassana? Right? This is a very good mentality. This is the highest mentality in Buddhism. Right? This does not mean that you should not compete well, you should not do well. You're going to keep doing this as such, as required. But when things go not in the way that you expected, you should be able to patiently look at it and respond wise. Otherwise, your life will become caught up by the Mara's second arm. Third, kuppipasa, hunger and thirst. That means each time when you become hungry and thirsty, it is said that they are part of the Mara's armies. What did the Buddha say about hunger? He said, this is the worst sickness. Jigacha paramaru. That means you ate something 1 hour ago, but again you want to eat something. Okay? Can you stop hunger? Can you stop other diseases? If you prepare them well in advance, you can stop even very dangerous diseases. It may be cancer, it may be other things. If you could get diagnosed earlier, you could get a chance. But hunger and thirst, can you stop them? Is there something that you could eat and you could stop hunger and thirst for many weeks, many months? To eat. Right? If you don't get food, that means you are in trouble. Sometimes most arguments come from people who are hungry and thirsty. When you have an argument when people are hungry, they keep challenging, they keep defending. They are hungry. It's an army of the Mara, thirsty. That's why when somebody comes to the temple, Buddha said, did you have your dinner or whatever, maybe meals? He said, no. Then he asked monks to bring him to the kitchen and give this man some food. Because he knew, without food, you are not able to feed your mind. You have to feed yourself first. So, hunger and thirst, they are never-ending sicknesses, armies. Craving, this is the highest, the worst thing that takes us to samsara, right? Now, we know the reason of our dukkha is craving. What is craving? Craving means desire. It's desire, craving. Do we have a desire for Dhamma also? Yes, we have a desire for Dhamma. Right? Now we say, how do we say? It says that for those good people should like Dhamma because bad people hate Dhamma. Right? Dhamma kamo bhavang hoti, Dhamma desi parabhava. That means we have to like Dhamma. That means desire is a neutral word, I think. It's not ethically positive unless you know the context. Right? It is like sila in the Dhamma. Buddha says there are good sealers and bad sealers. Right? If you do good sila, it's called kusala sila. If you do bad sila, akusala sila. Bad sila means kill, steal, misbehave, lie. It's also a sila. Behavior. So, in the same way, desire is a neutrally, it's a neutral word actually, not ethically positive. So but tanha is a place where you create a strong attachment. Maybe a greed, a strong greed towards what you like. The Buddha said there are three types of tanha: kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Kama means you are having a strong greed towards kamas, sights, sounds, smell, taste, touch, and the thoughts. Strong greed, not a normal greed. And there are people who having second type of tanha, bhava tanha. They want to be reborn in next life. Are there people as such? I offer dana to the monks or whoever. Next life, may I become a deva. Next life, huh? Are there people like that? Yes, bhava tanha. Because you are going to think about something in a dangerous journey. We never know what's going to happen. Right? Maybe okay, it may be not okay. Right? So the Buddha said, anybody who wishes to be reborn in a next life for whatever the purpose other than attaining Nibbana, could be Bhavatanha. Vibhavatanha means, third one, thinking that this is my last life and there is no next life. And then that person does not believe good karma, bad karma, because there is no place to experience such. Right? So these are three types of craving. So craving means strong greed about these three types of areas. What you call pleasures, then becoming and non-becoming. It's an army of the Mara. Tina means the sloth and torpor, which means laziness of your mind and mental states. Now this is very interesting. Sometimes you know all the Dhamma, you know the basic Dhamma. You may know the Noble Eightfold Path. You may have read a lot. You may heard about different Dhamma talks about how to end dukkha. But you don't have enough effort. You are not effortful. You are a lazy person at home. Is it possible? It could be. So the Buddha says, although you know Dhamma, but if you do not have energy, effort, you are not going to make it. Interesting, right? So the Buddha asks us to practice four things. He said, Samma Vayama, right effort. Right effort means there are four ways the Buddha said to practice. That means you have to remove the existing akusalas that you have. That means, let's say you are an angry person, you are a jealous person. So you have to remove your existing anger. Try to remove that. That is the first effort. Second is to prevent non-existing akusalas. You are not that angry. You are not that jealous. But your friends might be. So you have to try not to create any akusalas that you don't have at the moment. Use efforts, right effort. Third is that develop the existing kusala that you have. Let's say you are a very patient person, right? You have lots of patience. So try to have effort to develop those levels of patience you already have. Third effort, yeah, it's a good effort. The fourth one is try to create non-existing kusalas. Maybe you are not that much compassionate towards others. You are a very selfish person. Even in the Dhamma practice, I don't care other people. I only do my meditation, my dana, my retreats. That is my way. I don't care other people. You're becoming a very selfish person in a good way, not in a bad way. This can happen, huh? Some people become selfish in a good way, not in a bad way. Bad way, most people are selfish. But in a good way, some people can be selfish, can have ego, that much ego. So the Buddha says, if you don't have such, do not create it. Do not try to create it. Have effort not to create such. To me, it's like a garden. It's like a garden where you want to have good flowers and vegetables. Let's go back to the 4 areas. First one is removing. Second, preventing. Third, maintaining. Fourth, maybe innovation, maybe growing new stuff. How do we take the first two? Let's say you have a garden. Do you like to have some weeds in your garden? Some weeds, bad plants? No. You want to remove them. If you see them, you're going to remove them. Uproot them, remove them. But if that you think that bad weeds, bad plants might grow, so you might do some precautionary stuff. Maybe you might sprinkle some fertilizers, some pesticides, insecticides, because you want to keep a good garden. Then maintain, you want to keep caring, nursing your garden. And then growing, that means you may think that I want to plant new stuff here. Maybe I want to bring new things, right? So that I may get more fruits, more vegetables, right? That is how you're going to look at effort, right effort. So that you are not into sloth and torpor. You are not lazy. You have good energy effort. But is more energy a problem too? Yes. If you have more energy, it's a problem too. What kind of energy is this? This energy means you have energy to do good things in a moderate way. Sometimes if you want to do a lot of good things at the same time, so much excessively, it is also a problem. If you meditate too much, if you are generous too much, if you are compassionate too much, it is also a problem. What happens if you are too much compassionate? Too much. Other people will misuse your compassion. Has that happened to you? In your life, you are compassionate, but at a certain point, you were too compassionate, too much. Has anybody taken any misadvantage from you? There you go. Too much thing is too much, even good stuff. Right? Too much, too less. These are two bad ends. Always try to keep a balance. Any good thing, even when you study, have a balance. Do sports, have a balance. Always balance is the driving force in having a healthy life. Spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. So, that means high energy might not be good. We need energy, effort in a moderate way to run our spirituality. Then fear, biru. Are we getting feared on a daily basis? How? What are our basic fears? Anybody wants to say anything? What are your basic fears? You won't run to that ever here. What are your basic fears in your life? No money. Okay. Financial life. And others? This is a very big concern. Death. It's a huge fear to many people. Why? They have so much things to experience before they die. Bucket list. Right? Bucket list to do things. We know we die one day, but if it is going to be a little earlier, going to be a big issue to many people. Right? Some people still keep planning, but death will come a little earlier to some, unfortunately. It's not unfold, it's the way how they have been carrying their life from the past life. So, fear to die is one of the very big fears. And then what are the other fears? Sick. For being sick. Yeah, so getting sick is another fear. Other fears? If you don't say anything, I think you are in an oasis. Such a peaceful life. No fears. What are the other fears that you may have? Loneliness. And what are the other ones? Huh? Too many, yeah, spit it out. Yes, I want to hear what they are. Otherwise, you won't understand this topic because fear, army of the Mara. Burden. What kind of burden is that? Burden means what kind of burden? Huh? It depends on everybody. Yeah, everything becomes a burden. Whatever happens, we should not bring anything to our head. Don't put anything over our head. Once you put it, it's a big issue. We have to put all the problems below the head. That is where people get stressed out. Whatever the problem happens in your life, don't bring over it to your head. Put it down and then find solutions. Any other fears? Living to one's expectations. Now, as Asians, we are asked to live up to our parents' expectations initially, isn't it? Since our childhood, say, my mother likes me to be a doctor. My father likes me to be a this and that. Sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't make it. Right? Living to different people's expectations. Most fears are most fears rational or irrational? Most fears are irrational. Why is it? Because we haven't brought those fears into a certain wise, valid framework. We simply get carried out by this notion. Now let's go back. Fear to die. Don't we know we are going to die one day? We know. We're going to die. Buddha passed away. Everybody passed away. Nobody was remaining. And I think if we don't die, it's a suffering also. When you get old, you think that your body is a problem to you. You're getting sick, you can't walk, you're getting different things, right? It is a problem too. I think a peaceful, good death is what we should expect. That should happen. Second, fear to become sick. Yeah, this is a very good concern. We don't want to be sick. But are we, I think we are all health conscious as much as we want, but still sicknesses can come. What is the biggest issue if we get sick? We are not able to practice Dhamma. We are creating self-hatred towards us because why? Why me? Why me? I interviewed one lady from somewhere. She's been actually going through a cancer. What she told me was that, always she was in her 40s, and she said everybody was saying to her, why you got this issue, why you got the cancer. And then somehow down the path she came to know, why not me? Why not me? Because we all are vulnerable to anything. It's not just the age. And she understood by herself. Right? Just like dispelling the notion, dispelling the stereotypes of society. Right? Living with what we have, what we get. Right? I think it needs a lot of understanding, a lot of wisdom. Right? So, I would say fear to become sick is something that we have to look at differently. But it doesn't mean that we should not be health conscious. Try to eat properly, try to have a good life, give enough rest. In today's world, when people are so much into their work life, whatever the things, they are not thinking about enough sleep, right? All that kind of stuff. So we can minimize fear. If we do not minimize fear, then we get caught up by the Mara's army fears. Then doubts. Is doubt a problem in your daily life? Do people suspect you, doubt about you? Why are doubts coming up? Why are they stuck with the doubts? It is because you Maybe there is no proper communication. Maybe you do not know how to talk to those people. Maybe they don't know how to listen to you properly. So these problems are lying, among different lives, right? So we have to minimize the doubts, right? Otherwise, you can't live with the doubts, because doubts will create lots of misunderstanding. But doubts are coming out as a consequence of the Mara. So what does Mara do to us? Mara creates us lack of understanding, lack of communication, passive communication, no active communication. They are Mara's armies. So then how we can avoid that army? By having a good communication, good engaged conversation. Right? A lot of problems can be minimized. Conceit and ingratitude, makho thambo, which means arrogance, conceit. This is a very big issue. And ingratitude. First lesson the Buddha taught us. The Buddha said, his first lesson to the followers is gratitude. Have you ever thought about it? Now you might think, I want to learn a lot of suttas, I want to learn a lot of Dhamma talks. But the first thing that he asks us to practice is not these lot of Dhamma talk, gratitude. How did he ask us to practice? Be grateful for everything. How did he show to us? Second week after his awakening, he showed to us that he wanted to keep watching the Bodhi tree, that he was able to become enlightened. Bodhi tree has nothing, but he showed to us we should have gratitude, should be grateful. If someone is not grateful for their culture, roots, whatever the things, and the things that that person was given from the family background or whatever, that person will never grow. That is the first lesson. And actually, a lot of people, they know a lot of Dhamma, but it is at this place only. They don't go to the heart. Why is it? When they start learning Dhamma, they do not respect the person who gave that Dhamma. We need lots of gratitude for the person, the Buddha. Without being grateful to the teachings, you will never get benefited from the teachings. So gratitude. But if you are ungrateful, that means you are controlled by the Mara. If you are grateful, that means you are under the Dhamma. Then, this is interesting, the ninth one. Labo, siloko, sakkaro, michalattu, gain, renown, honor, false received. That means every being would like to gain things. They would like to get reputation, popularity, honor, respect. But they may be expecting those things in a wrong way. Do people do such? Maybe they are doing a promotion. They are making a product, and they are promoting in a wrong way. What's the wrong way? We found this herbal thing from the Himalayas. This is organic food, but they found in the same place, like the other inorganic industrial food, but they say this is organic. So they fake, they cheat on the people, and they get recognition. My product is very standardized, right? So gain, renown, honor, these are actually Mara's armies. I think we all would like to be reputed. There's no problem. If you are a good person, you'll be reputed. But do not try to seek for it. Do not seek for the gain. Do not seek for the renown. Do not seek for the honor. If you are not, it's like money. When people are looking for money, they are not making money. But if they do well, money will come to them. Money will find you. But if you keep looking, where's the money? Where's the money? Money will not come. Money is going somewhere. You are not worthy to get it. It's like sleep. You go to the bed looking for, I can't I sleep? Try so much to sleep. But the moment you stop trying to sleep, you will sleep. Try to do it. That means you are ready for the sleep. You have the preparation, and then sleep will come to you. But if you go to the bed, okay, sleep, 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 I want to sleep. Sleep will never come to you. Same thing. So gains, popularity, reputation, whatever such will come to you if you are doing well. Don't look for it. If you look for them, you are controlled by the Mara's army. Finally, this is very interesting. Yo chattanang samuktanse parejana vijana avajananti. Self-exaltation and disparaging others. That means you talking a lot about you. That means you have to disparage other people. When you talk a lot about you, you have to disparage other people. Right? So people who are controlled by the Mara always talk self-value a lot. I'm this, I'm so, I did this, I'm like this, I was this and that. But the good people who are not controlled by the Mara, they are not talking as such. Let other people find me who I am. They won't. Otherwise, I continue my good life as a good human. They are very embarrassed to talk about them. You know, when they even ask, okay, it's okay. You know, they are very embarrassed. They are trying to stay low key people, right? Good human beings are like that. So the rest, they want to get them uplifted all the time. So that is a last type of Mara. I think a lot of people are part of this army of the Mara. All right. So these are the 10 Maras that control us. If you want to respond to them in the proper way, respond to them in the Buddha way. The Buddha way is that try to have a limit to your karma. Karma is okay. Have a limit where you do not cross the global level. Displeasure, find ways how to understand what is happening to you. It is always by understanding your happiness, unhappiness, you will create moderate state called upekka. You are happy ever. If anything happens to you, you understand it properly. You respond to that event properly. Nobody can put you down because you have a good state of feeling about it. We call it upekka. Hunger and thirst, yes, we get hungry, we get thirsty, but we have to find wise ways of treating our hunger and thirst. If you do not respond to your hunger, thirst in the proper way, you will be hungry for the whole day. You'll be thirsty for the whole day. Then what should we do? We should find proper food to eat so that you are minimizing unnecessary times of eating of food. Compulsive eating, you're going to stop compulsive eating. Yeah. That is also a good point. But when we go inside the hunger and thirst, these two things are always happening to us, right? On a daily basis, in addition to why we work, why we live. So what you need to do is that when you make selection for your food habits, your drink habits, always try to find ways you can minimize unnecessary eating, compulsive eating, right? That's a problem because sometimes when you work from home, you eat a lot. At work, you don't eat that much because the fridge is nearby and you open it and eat something and munch something and you get sick after some time. Who made it? Is it food? No, it's your compulsive thinking. So what I'm trying to say is that eat by having a good plan. So you don't have to eat a lot. Maybe you eat some good food, probably good food where you are not getting hungry a lot. So then hunger and thirst cannot control you. You control hunger and thirst. But normally what happens? Hunger and thirst control you. Craving, of course, you are trying to minimize it by understanding. Laziness, you are going to understand how you're going to put your energy level, effort properly. Fear, you understand that a lot of fears you have are irrational. Understanding the contents of your fear can help you become fearless. doubts, you're going to have lots of good communication with anybody, family, workplace, study place. Sometimes the more you are silent, the more problems will come at certain points because people misunderstand. Sometimes you need to be silent too. Always try to clear out unnecessary misunderstanding, if possible. Sometimes some other people don't like to hear from you, but anyways, try to clear out if possible. Conceit and ingratitude, that means we always have to, become very humble people, at the same time grateful. Never ever let gain, renown, honor, such things take you over. Let them come to you in the proper way, but you are going to do things, good things as you've been continuing. And finally, never ever let self-centered life take you over. Try to always respect others and concern about others while you keeping your practice together. Not that other people are bad, I am the best, I am the highest, I am the this and that. This will destroy your peace of mind. If you are bothered by that, that means you are controlled by the Maras. So finally, what I can say before we go for the Q&A is that these 10 things are not your simple mental states. They are governed by Mara. So in this place, either it could be a concept or a person, but these are generally considered as Mara's armies. So you could do something for these 10 and your life will become, I would say, happier, at the same time comfortable, easier, and not falling into any negative mental states unnecessarily. All right, any questions about today's topic? Can give the mic to.
Thank you, Bhante, for this course. So we have another 15 minutes. So Bhante invites everyone on the floor if any questions. So Bhante, from my understanding, the Mara actually is within ourselves. It's our mental state and how we deal with it. So I think by cultivating probably it will reduces our
of sweeping the floor and then piling up the garbage, he would have attained Nibbana. So he wanted to stop this. So he appeared. Then the monk was kind of scared about this. Then he said, what do you want? He said, you should not meditate. Reflect upon what you're doing. Okay, on one condition, the monk said, can you become the Shakyamuni Sambuddha? Now, Shakyamuni Sambuddha passed away already by that time. He said, oh yeah, it's very easy for me because I have known him for some time and I know him, I have seen him. Then he became the real, true version of the Sammas, not these statues. These were just speculations of the Buddha at that time. The moment he saw, what do you call that, trans into the Shakyamuni Buddha's real form, the monk became an Arahant. It is said, because the true Buddha. And then at that point, Mara became very unhappy about it. So we have a lot of stories in the text like this. So we don't know, because unless we understand properly, we never know whether a person or not. But regardless of he is a person or a concept, what is more important is that these 10 are always happening in our mindset. Let's try to, as you said, take care of our mind from being caught up by these 10 aspects of the life. That will be then better.
So in that moment, it can become an enlightenment to the monk.
In that story, he became an enlightened monk. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have many stories like that.
Okay, we have any questions? Anybody would like to pose questions? No? It's a go? Yeah, Mr. Go is thinking deeply, coming up with a good questions.
Start to see any question you ask.
Yeah.
I have no questions.
Okay.
Maybe.
Basically, actually, I'm very pleased that what Bhante has told us. Actually, those are barriers and obstacles in our daily life, and is possibly beside we cultivating, right, doing all the good things, avoid all the evils. Then we need to also meditate in order to give us a better understanding of our surroundings. And I think those obstacles, if we really cultivate, you cannot totally eradicate, but probably you will reduce us and minimize, and thus making our life happier.
At least understanding their armies of the Mara is also a very good, I could say, motivation for us to become good people. Now, most people don't know what they are. When they are displeased, when they are frustrated, they never know this is a part of the Mara's force. When they have lots of fear, they don't know it's a part of Mara. At least just understand they are part of Mara's. I mean, they can do something. It is like that when people know how people get cancer, how people get diabetes, that awareness help many people to prevent issues. But many people don't know even those sicknesses, so they fall into those sicknesses. I think even a basic knowledge of that these 10 aspects of our life can help anybody to become better people. That is the least, the bare minimum benefit of this thing.
Okay, before we conclude, maybe Bhante will give us some advices on how we should go about it.
Yeah, the opposite. I would say, basically, I would say the Noble Eightfold Path. If you practice a Noble Eightfold Path, then you can definitely overcome all of them. Start from the Sammaditthi, right view. I mean, it's another discussion. I can't say everything in this short time, but if you practice, if you start from Sammaditthi, you coming up with the right view. You can see a lot of notes on my blog actually. But then you go to right intention.
Yeah, from my younger days, when I take refuge in the Triple Gem, so the master will tell us, well, just practice your 5 precepts. Is that sufficient?
Well, it is sufficient to be a good layperson.
As a lay Buddhist.
Yes, it's sufficient. But if you want to really look for a full-fledged version, a premium version of that, a premium version of that, the 5 precept, I think perhaps it's good to think about the Noble Eightfold Path as a layperson, not as a monastic case, because it is possible. You don't need to be a monk or a nun to practice it in your own way, but understanding the elements, the core of the Noble Eightfold Path.
Yeah, the Eightfold Path is noble, but it's difficult to practice.
It is, good things are always difficult to start with. Even if you do any good thing, it's difficult. I don't say it's difficult. Our mindset for a good thing is difficult. When we say it is a good thing, we take any good thing. There's a challenge. I would say challenge, not a difficulty. It's a challenge. So it is possible. If you really know what you are supposed to do, it is possible. Yeah.
Normally, our biggest obstacle is our mindset. We want to overcome
you have to make it. You have to cultivate it. Now, what do you do with the Noble Eightfold Path is you cultivate your mind in order to create kusala thoughts. Now, all these things are rising because you don't have enough kusala thoughts. The only solution is to practice Noble Eightfold Path.
Okay, thank you.
I think we can continue this thing tomorrow in the retreat. I can discuss more things about the Noble Eightfold Path.
We have a session tomorrow that's 8 to 10 p.m. Bhante will continue with metta meditation. And I hope all of you can come. And then probably will, I don't know.
It's more about meditation. Yeah.
So, okay, with that, we will conclude the session
Yes.
for
We're gonna transfer the
tonight.
merits after.
And we'll do transfer merits.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we're going to transfer all the good karmas to the departed ones. And I heard today the son of the president of this association, Madam Cho Sung Ling's third son, Quack Sun soon passed away today morning. So let's think about, reflect upon all the good karmas we've been doing today. In addition to Quack Sun soon, may all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of you, maybe your parents, your siblings, anybody else, and also anyone in your samsaric journey who is thinking, who is looking for any good karmas, may all they be able to receive all these good karmas. And may they be well and happy, may they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu. Idamme ñātīnaṃ hūtu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṃ hūtu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṃ hūtu sukitā huntu ñātayo. May all the good karmas be shared by all the Deva, Naga, Mahitika. May they protect all of you, family members, everybody, for good health, quality of life, prosperity. May Deva, Naga, Mahitika also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha ammehi sambataṃ punya sampadaṃ sabbe deva anumodantu sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya ākāsattā ca bhummattā deva naga mahintika puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu loka sāsanaṃ chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu desanaṃ chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu maṃ paranti. May we also wish, our main wish in our samsaric life, may we be in the company of the Kalyana Mitras till we attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamu satang samagamu hutu yava nibbana pattiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been creating today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse niccang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagda sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samipinchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we are wrapping this up at this point, this session. And I'm going to be seeing you next tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the mini retreat with the metta meditation. Have a good night and take care. Thank you, the Pahang Buddhist Association, for hosting the talk. And I hope some others might be watching online. So, great job. And thank you for both of you also. Yeah, tied a lot to me. All right. A group photo, yes, we can.